Welcome back to K-Astrology, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and on this channel I do monthly horoscope videos for all 12 zodiac signs, along with tarot predictions for your sign. Today I'm going to be doing your January 2021 horoscope, so be sure to watch for your rising, sun and moon sign. I'm going to leave a timestamp in the comment box and the description of the video, so feel free to skip this intro if you just want to head straight to your horoscope. As for the rest of you, January is absolutely hectic. We have squares from Mars, Uranus, Saturn and Jupiter going every which way. This is going to heavily activate two of your houses in particular, and of course it will change for each sign. And we also have Mercury going into retrograde at the end of the month. As per usual with Mercury retrogrades, we always have a 2-week pre-shadow period. So for the first couple of weeks in January, you'll have a bit of a breather, you could say, but this is really the calm before the storm, because come 13th of January, everything is going to go haywire, and there's going to be so much change and such a upswing or uptake in energy. And every sign of course is going to feel it differently, but the ones who will be affected the most will be Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, and Scorpio. Without further ado, let's dive straight in. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Happy New Year and welcome to your January 2021 horoscope. The month starts off with Mars entering Taurus on the 7th of January, and it will stay in Taurus for 3 months. So this means it's transiting your 6th house of work, health, and your daily routines. So you'll be putting a lot of effort into those areas of your life. Now on the 8th of January, Mercury will be entering Aquarius, which is in your 3rd house. So there can be a lot of communication going back and forth with siblings, with colleagues, with business clients, even with cousins, extended relatives, and your colleagues as well. Now on the 9th of January, Venus will enter Capricorn, and this is in your 2nd house. The 2nd house is essentially your money house, and it represents your finances and also any kind of sensual delight. So you can be enjoying going out for nice dinners, treating yourself to a spa day, or even pampering yourself with a luxury purchase. On the 13th of January, we will actually have a new moon in Capricorn, which is also in your 2nd house, and it will be at 23 degrees. It'll also be in a tight conjunction with Pluto at just 24 degrees. New moons always bring about new beginnings in some capacity, and this one can be in relation to many different things relating to your finances, what you value, your possessions, and also your family history. Pluto adds a karmic element to this new beginning because Pluto represents death and rebirth. So you can actually be restructuring your finances. You might be doing away with what you had previously and starting from the ground up. On another level, you can see stability in your finances. You can be laying down foundations, and you can actually be seeing a new stream of income, which brings you a lot of wealth and abundance. Pluto is a planet which can bring huge amounts of wealth. On another level, Pluto represents your mutual resources. So perhaps your partner or your business relationship is now adding to your financial situation in a positive way. On a different level, you can be having a newfound sense of self-value and self-worth. The 2nd house represents anything that we value, and that does extend to yourself. So you can have a newfound confidence, you could say. And on another level, the 2nd house representing family traditions and history of all kinds can see you actually uncovering something in relation to your family traditions or your lineage as a whole. On a completely different level, you could be reviving old family traditions, or even seeing a second marriage occur, because the 2nd house rules second marriages. Now, it doesn't have to be marriage. It can be embarking on a very serious relationship, but this is the second one. So if you were married before, or you had combined resources or even children with someone else, this is now a new partnership. But it's not just like flirtations or like a non-serious relationship. This is someone who you pretty much consider to be a life partner. Now, also on the 13th of January, we will see Mars in Taurus in your 6th house, squaring Saturn in Aquarius in your 3rd house. Now, there will be a series of other squares between Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, and Uranus, and also the 3rd house and the 6th house, but I'm going to go through them one by one. So with Mars in Taurus in the 6th, square Saturn in Aquarius in the 3rd, this can manifest in several different ways. On one level, your business colleagues may be working too slowly, and now this is adding to your responsibilities, and it's actually now a burden for you with your team projects. So this is causing you to do more work, or you might have to solve a problem that your colleagues haven't been able to get to the bottom of. Another way that this can play out is that there can be issues between you and your colleagues, or you and people who actually work for you, because the 6th house represents people who work for you. So it's you can be in a position of leadership, and these people who work for you can actually be challenging your authority at this time. On a different level, responsibilities with your siblings or extended relatives can mean that you now have to put in more effort at work. On a completely different note, you could actually be putting a lot of effort into the foundations of your business, because the 3rd house is one of the houses that can represent your own business, and with Saturn there, this can be like a lot of responsibilities or even burdens. And obviously if it's your own business, you want it to work out, and it doesn't have to be a burden as in something that you resent. It can just be that you have heaps and heaps of responsibilities, and therefore you're putting so much effort into the work for this project, which is represented by Mars in the 6th house. Mars is actually quite happy in the 6th house, because the 6th represents your work life, but it also represents problems, issues, and conflictual situations. So with Mars here, Mars is very strategic, and it's actually a problem solver. So even though you might have a lot of commitments in relation to work, team projects, colleagues, or even with siblings and extended relatives, you have the skills and the talents to be able to work through these issues. Now, this could see you be doing a new course for work, and this course that you're doing, as represented by the 3rd house, because that's courses and education and learning new skills and talents, this course can now see you be having to put in a lot of hours, let's say during the day, and then outside of work hours, you're having to make up for that time with more effort into your current work life. Now, on a totally different note, this can result in your 2 younger siblings arguing, or it could even be a court case that you are currently working through, and you're having to put a lot of time and effort into that. Now, on the 14th of January, Uranus will be direct in the sign of Taurus, and just a few days later, Jupiter in Aquarius in your 3rd house will be squaring Uranus in your 6th house in Taurus. Jupiter is a planet of expansion, generosity, wisdom, knowledge. It can also be overindulgence in some ways. And Uranus is about swift change, sudden upheavals, and it can bring something new into our life. So this can play out as unexpected help and assistance from a sibling, an extended family member, a friend, or even a colleague. And this can have a positive outcome on your work life, or their generosity can help you to overcome a debt that you owe, or even just get a handle on that debt. On a different level, they could have some knowledge or expertise which which assists you in a court case that you are dealing with. This could also play out as your business seeing huge expansion as denoted by Jupiter, and then this causes an unexpected change in your workload, okay? On another level, actually on a similar level, this expansion of business can manifest as a lot more clients coming in, or a lot of sales being generated, and now this causes a lot of work for you. But in any case, this will be out of the blue. It will be something which you didn't see coming, whether that's the level of expansion or the timing of this change to your workload. Now, for some of you, you could actually be working too much, all right? So this is where the overindulgent side of Jupiter comes into play. Your overindulgence, well, your huge work efforts, okay? You're spending too much time on work, and now this has actually caused an unexpected health ailment for you. So that's something to watch out for. Now, on the 20th of January, the sun will enter Aquarius, which means that it will be transiting your third house, and this effectively kicks off Aquarius season. With the sun here, there will be so much focus on work for you, communications, anything to do with technology, especially if you work with technology, social media, online, or with the internet in any capacity. And there can also be a focus on your relationships with siblings, relatives, colleagues, and or friends. The next day, on the 21st of January, Mars in Taurus will be conjunct Uranus, and this is at 6 degrees in your 6th house. This is a pretty volatile aspect, or transit, I should say. I'm not going to lie. This can result in sudden issues arising in relation to a number of different areas. It could be a sudden health issue, a sudden debt which you've accrued, and it could even bring about a court case which you didn't see coming. But as always, there's a flip side. There's a positive way that this can play out. You can have a sudden health breakthrough because Mars represents any kind of sharp, penetrative instrument or force. So this could actually be you getting to the bottom of a health issue, having a breakthrough in that respect, and it can really come out of left field, or you could overcome a debt which you owe, which you weren't expecting to clear this debt so suddenly. Now, Mars, once again, is actually happy in the 6th house, so you can actually find an innovative way to solve an issue with work, or something to do with your health once again, or even taking sudden action regarding your exercise routines and your health and well-being, and this can have a positive effect on you. You could actually see results come in a lot sooner than you expected. Lastly, with this one, if you have pets, I just want to make a little note on this one to be very, very careful when it comes to electricity and fire, because Uranus rules electricity and Mars rules fire. So there can be like a sudden electrical fire either in your workplace or at a gym that you attend, or your pet. Just be really careful with your pets when it comes to fire and electricity, okay? Don't leave the stove cooktop on unattended, and just be careful with any kind of electrical works that you're doing, whether that's in the workplace, if you're allowed to bring your pet to work, or if you work from home. That's another way that it could manifest. I'm not saying that this will manifest, I'm just saying to be careful if you are having electrical work done to your home. Just make sure that your pet is not in the vicinity. Now, on the 23rd of January, we will see Mars in Taurus in your 6th house being square Jupiter in your 3rd house. So this, as always, can play out in several different ways. On one level, the work that you do can actually help your siblings, colleagues, or your friends. An argument that you have with them, as denoted by Mars. Mars represents discord and arguments, and it's quite an antagonistic planet. It can be blown out of proportion because once again, Jupiter expands anything that it touches. So, just be mindful not to be hot-headed, especially with siblings. I know you Sagittarians are very, very hot-headed. It doesn't have to be with siblings. This can also be in relation to colleagues, friends, or business clients as well. So, just keep your temper in check, Sagittarius. On a different level, your leadership efforts can actually be really inspiring to siblings, friends, or colleagues. Okay, so again, we see Mars in the 6th house representing that you are in a position of authority and leadership, and Jupiter can inspire others, and it can really allow people to set their sights higher and put their dreams and visions into focus and have it be something which they see as being attainable and something that they can bring to fruition. So you can be really inspiring towards any team that you lead, colleagues, friends, and relatives and siblings at this time. Now, on the 29th of January, there will be a full moon in Leo in your 9th house, and that's at 8 degrees, and it is opposite Saturn at 4 degrees and Jupiter at 9 degrees. So it's a pretty tight opposition that we have here. Now, the 9th house represents travel, higher learning, teachers, mentors, and it also rules your world views, and that includes your moral compass, spirituality, and religion. So with this full moon, you could actually be receiving paperwork which pertains to a visa application, something to do with travel, or even relocating abroad. And the reason for that is that full moons bring about completion and tangible results. And it can also be the ending of a chapter. So another way that this can manifest is that a blog or an article or even a book that you have written, as denoted by Saturn and Jupiter being in the 3rd house of communications, could actually get published as represented by the 9th house, which rules over publications, and it could be circulated and it could actually get a lot of recognition. Now, this could actually see you be closing the door on living abroad. So you may have been living overseas for, well, however long. It doesn't need to be, a long time. It could even be several years. Whatever the case is, you could actually be relocating back home or to another country. Okay, so your stay overseas is coming to a close, and this can actually allow you to commence some new project once you return home. Because if you recall from my December 2020 video, which discussed the great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius in your 3rd house, this can see the commencement of some new project or learning a new talent and skill, which becomes instrumental in the next 20-year cycle of your life. If you didn't catch that video or you'd like a refresher, I do recommend that you go back and you watch that video, because it will be very enlightening as to what's to come over the next couple of years, specifically speaking, but then that also spans out the next 2-decade cycle. So this full moon can also see you having a sudden inspiration or epiphany regarding your worldviews, whether that's the way that you see the world in general, your views on spirituality, atheism, or religion, or just how you want to lead with integrity in the world going forward. Now, some of you who are teachers, mentors, religious or spiritual leaders can actually be retiring from this career, and now you have more time to focus on those talents and skills which I mentioned just earlier, with the conjunction being in your 3rd house. Now, on a different level, you can be completing some course or study, and now you have time to put what you've learned into a new project or venture. On a totally different note, and lastly, regarding this transit, your dad might be retiring and now he has more time to spend with your family and with, pursuing his dreams and hobbies. Lastly, for the month, on the 31st of January, Mercury will be retrograding into Aquarius, and this is a 3-week transit. I'm going to be talking about how this impacts you in a lot of detail in my February 2021 video. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to Cailin. If you enjoyed this video for your January horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. Enjoy the rest of the month, Sagittarius, and I will see you next month.